Hello to anyone who is listening. I must apologize about the bad sound quality, for I am recording with a Prestigio camera which is around 6 years old, and the microphone is quite shitty, so the quality will sometimes be shitty. I also need to apologize about any background noise that may occur during this video, for I am sharing a house with 8 other people, so there is pretty much noise all the times. I don't know what the mic will pick up, so I apologize up front. And let's get to the point of this video. I will talk about education reforms, and mostly rant about what I think should be done in education systems, especially in my country, but generally around the world also. So, a little bit of background info on me. I am a college student, a fourth-year college student. I am currently finishing on a pharmaceutical engineering degree. So, I have been a student for a very long time. This is my 15th year I am in the education system of my country, and I've had my fair share of bad experiences with it. First of all, my country is a former communist country in Eastern Europe. We were not the Soviet kind of communism, but still, you may have heard of it. It is Yugoslavia, the communist one, and my country was a part of it. And so, most of our education system we inherited from the socialist Yugoslavia, and it hasn't changed any much. I still learn at the same with the same system my parents used in the 60s and 70s, so I can pretty much say that the education system in my country is shit. At any level, at elementary school, at high school, at college, and PhDs, everything is shit. Most of it is concentrated on theoretical learning. I had homeworks spanning 50 pages just because the teacher or professor didn't know better. So what can he do? Well, he gave us 50 pages of homework to do. I was notorious for not doing homework because, well, let's face it, I am lazy, so I don't want to do it, and I still don't do it. Even if I am the fourth year of college, I still don't want to do the homework, and I still don't do the homework. I got a lot of shit for it through the years, but I still don't care, as I think of it as very unnecessary to have 50 pages of homework, even in college, for stuff I don't really need in my working in the following years after college. I still had to learn sociology in college, even though I am like studying chemical engineering. So yeah, I also had to learn basic computer skills, which is how to open up Microsoft Word, which is pretty moronic. If you had to learn that in your 20th year of life, I really don't know what to say. That really shows how much the system is, well, shit. I've learning about computers for 15 years, but, well, still you come to college and you still don't know how to use Word and Excel and stuff like that with what I am using for like 15 years also, but they don't care. They could change it, but it's too much work, so they don't want to. A few years back, I think 4 years, let's say, yes, 4 years, I was trying to get into a research laboratory here in my country, and I had to write an essay, about 700 word essay, the typical American essay you write like the 15 minutes before you need to send it to be examined. I wrote about the subject I am just talking about, the education reform in my country, what is needed, what isn't needed, and what could be kept for the future generations. I was pretty much praised for it in my high school, as even the professors told me it was a pretty good essay for a man who was never in the education system, except for being a student. And of course, I was in that research laboratory for about 2 weeks for the whole duration of the course. So Yes, I do have something to share with people. I know most people won't listen, but well, what can you do? That is all about new ideas are always like that. Pretty much no one listens if it isn't a very radical idea, and my ideas aren't that much radical, but are still ideas that could possibly change the education system in my country and in the world, maybe in the world, for I have passed through, well, Europe's, I think, third worst education system, so I would know. Okay, let's get right to it. First of all, my education system I went through, I have a background in chemical lab working. That was my high school. My high school was a chemical high school, mostly learning about lab work, and I finished 4 years of chemical lab assistant. Not that prestigious, but it is good. It does have job opportunities after you finish it. So yes, 4 years of my high school, I pretty much didn't learn anything. Not that I was Albert Einstein or whatnot. I was just interested in chemistry, and for that 4 years, I have learned almost, well, nothing, in the sense of I just confirmed things I thought about earlier or read about in elementary school or during high school. And I took a lot of unnecessary courses during those 4 years, and it was not that interesting. At least to say I had five, no, not five, 3 times a week I had sociology, even though I was learning to be a lab assistant. I had philosophy two times a week, even though I was a lab assistant. I had a lot of classes I didn't really need, but the education system here is like that. So even if you are learning for things, yeah, for a factory worker, you still need to have sociology 3 times a week or philosophy 2 times a week. I don't want to say that those classes were shit. They weren't, but they were completely unnecessary for a man who wants to work, or a woman. It doesn't matter, who wants to work in a lab. After that, I don't really need 3 times of sociology a week. It's just a waste of time and potential that could be used in other places where it's needed, since the schools in my country really don't have that much classrooms. My elementary had 3 shifts for kids to go. There was a morning shift from 7:30 to 1:30. There was the middle shift for kids of second to third grade, which was from 10 to 4 in the afternoon, and there was the so-called second shift from 1:30 to 7:30 in the evening. So, and it changed every week. So that wasn't a really good thing to have. That one week you would wake up and go to school at 7:30, the next week you would go in 1:30. So not that good. It messes up your sleep cycle, especially when you get to the teen years, when you don't really sleep that much during the night, and you get in a bad routine of sleeping overly in the weeks you go in the afternoon, and sleeping not that much when you go at 7:30 in the morning. So that was a problem, but that was not a systemic problem. That was a problem of my school and pretty much any elementary school in Serbia where there are too much students for that school, as the schools weren't planned for that much kids going in. And so my school pretty much was the only school in my suburban part of the town where I lived. There were 30,000 people and only one school. That was very bad. We had, the school capacity was around 400 kids, and we had 1,600 kids in school. So you can imagine how that really got to all of us. There were classes about 30 to 40 people, not enough chairs, not enough tables to work on. One classroom was 12 tables, and on every table there were 3 persons sitting on it and working on it, which is not that big of a deal when you are 7, 8 years old, and not that big actually. But when you come to 13, 14 years, well, that becomes a problem when you have guys who are 2 meters tall and 100 kilograms heavy, that have shoulders like closets, so 3 of them can't in any way sit on that one table and work, even though you were expected to work on it, right, or whatnot. So that elementary school wasn't that bad actually. The biggest problem was lack of classrooms you could use, lack of classrooms for specialized subjects like physics, chemistry, art classes, music classes. Very bad, but that is not the problem of the education system, it's just the problem of the schools in the country, which most of them weren't that much renovated in the last 40 years. So that is also a problem. Of course, the schools in the bigger cities were renovated here and there, not every year, but well, as much as you can afford it, since this isn't a very rich country, in any sense. So yeah, then I went to high school in 2008. I enlisted in my high school for a chemical lab assistant. I actually wanted to study that because chemistry kind of became my passion in those years, as I was interested in history as a kid all the time. But there isn't that much work here in history. You can either teach history in high school or teach history in university, and I myself am not that best of a person to teach anyone anything, since my patience is not that bad, not that good. So yeah, I could explain someone anything, but if they didn't get it in the first 5 minutes of me explaining, well, that would be very bad, since I would lose any will to continue explaining anything. Anyways, I started going to high school, and I noticed since the first year that I am really studying stuff I really didn't need. I was studying for a chemical lab assistant, and chemistry was only about 1/5 of my weekly curriculum. Most of it was math, history. Well, you need math, but not that much math. I had math like 4 times a week. Almost any day, every day I had math. My mother language also 4 times a week. I had physics 3 times a week, history 2 times a week. We had, I think, yes, it was musical education. Well, that was only 1 class a week. But it still remains that most of the time I didn't study stuff I would need in the following years if I decided not to go to college, since there still is a chance in my country to get work. Actually, you can more easier get work with only high school than you can with college, since no one actually needs college educated people. But that trend actually continued in the following years until I reached the 4th year of my education, where we actually had a lot of chemistry, but still the majority of what I was studying still wasn't chemistry, even though I was almost finishing my education for a chemical lab assistant. And through the years I've always complained about it. We have strikes in my country. The schools strike every time a new school year starts. It starts on the 1st of September, and every time on the 1st of September there is a strike. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it doesn't matter. It still is strikes, and all classes that have been lost in the strike, we needed to make up for it. We would go on Saturdays in school, which is completely moronic, since we go 5 days. We have, I think, about 36 classes in 5 days, so it isn't that good actually. You would go 5 days and you still have Saturday to go to school, even though you have like 30 hours of school in the weeks. And that was pretty much very irritating problem for anyone going into high school. My high school and any high school here, actually, that doesn't matter for especially for the people who weren't living in the town, since high schools, or the better high schools, are very concentrated in big towns. First I had to travel an hour to the school every day with a bus, and an hour back. So on everything I did in the school, I still had 2 hours plus before I could go home and rest, actually, or do homework or whatnot. So I complained a lot about that, since I didn't want to go to school on Saturdays, because the professors want an increase in their wages, and they do have pretty big wages for my country. They think they don't have enough, but they do have enough. Around, I will lie, but I think around 400 euros, which is a lot, since the average wage in my country, the minimum wage is 200 euros and the average wage is at 300 euros. So it is a lot. They think they deserve more, since they do work with kids who are, well, idiots sometimes, and not in the medical sense, they just don't want to be there. Or we had kids from juvenile detention who got in our school because, well, they finished it and they need education. So it was bad, and every year it was like that since I started going to school, like 15 years. There is a strike every 1st of September of the professors who want a bigger salary and want a reformation of the education system, but it was never done. They will get the increase in wages, 2, 3, 5%, but the education system was never on the table for negotiation. Even though they tried selling the story to us like, yeah, we care about you, we want to make that better. Well, you could, but you just decided not to. You wanted the wages, you got the wages. The education reform, well, fuck it, we'll do it next time. Well, 15 years apart, we didn't do anything, since, well, it's just how it is. Since I enlisted in college in 2012, I am on a chemical college now. I study pharmaceutical engineering. The situation is a tad better, but not that much improved, since all professors are still the same, just earning 5 times more, like 2,000 euros a month, maybe. That is a lot of money. I will never earn that amount of money if I don't become a professor. So yeah, good for us. Yeah. The biggest problem is that professors in universities are untouchable, in all sense, are untouchable in any sense, until they do an actual criminal offense, like killing someone, attacking someone. There isn't anything you can do for it. There are professors which have about 1% of people who pass on their exams, and that is considered normal, because those professors are RA or RA, too old to be fired, B, too old, actually not too old, already can go in retirement, but they don't want to, and you can't actually force them because the law in my country doesn't allow it. Or C, just don't care. They think they are gods and they don't care. I've had a few friends of mine who would go on exams, the professor would walk in and say, you all failed, and go out. It didn't even matter if they knew or didn't knew. He just wasn't in the mood that day to work, and he failed everyone who was there. As you can imagine, that was a very big problem, as you need, in my country at least, you need to pay to go to an exam. It's 2 euros per exam you want to go, but it bubbles up. I've paid perhaps around 100 euros by now to go on all exams, and if you fail, it is 2 euros again, 2 euros again, 2 euros again. If you fail 4 times, well, it is 12 euros. If you fail more than 6 times, it is 20 euros. So yeah, I failed math, I think, 10 times. So you can imagine, it's not that cheap, even to go on exams, not even more to finish college. The enrollment fee is 70 euros. Again, not that much, but considering that the average wage is around 300 euros, it is a lot of money. And if students didn't have parents or grandmothers or whatnot to support them, I believe there would be no way they could enroll in college or finish college. Anyways, the biggest problem I faced in college is that even in the highest education you can get in my country, you still didn't get the quality education I always wanted to have. And I didn't, even today I have not got it, even though I am in college, and one of the actually more prestigious colleges, not a private college, it is a state-run college, but I still didn't get any quality out of it. I am paying huge sums of money. I think in 4 years I think I have wasted about 1,000 euros on quote-unquote free education. It is free in the essence that you don't pay scholarship, but everything else needs to be paid. Books need to be paid, exams need to be paid, everything you do, except for the fees, you need to pay. So yeah, it is free, but it is disingenuous when you say free, but I still had to work 5 months to pay for it, which is actually moronic. If you call it free, there isn't anything free actually, except for the scholarship, which is 600 euros. So if I paid scholarship, I would literally have to sell one of my kidneys to finish college. Well, I was lucky that I didn't need to do that, but if I needed, I don't know what would I do. So let's get started. The first thing I would suggest that need to be changed is that students need to get a practical education. Theoretical education is good in physics, but if you can practically show them what they learn, I believe actually that they would be very much inclined to learn more or learn outside of the class or experiment. At the end of all, I always wanted to experiment with chemicals, and I did, but all of that was outside of school, since my politics of my school was, well, we don't approve of that, even though it's maybe a basic experiment, but we don't approve of that because you are a student, so yeah, no work for you. The other thing I would recommend, from personal experience at least, is that while the professors do need a bigger pay, that pay should be correlated with their success. If you can't make enough students to learn what you are teaching, well, then why the fuck would you get 600 euro wage for it? I just don't see it. So moving on, the professor wage, that is, well, I am not a professor, I really don't know what they are going through when they try to teach and everything, but considering what I saw, how much effort I saw they gave in classes, I would pretty much be inclined to say that they don't do that much. Actually, not that much, that they try to portray it as they do a lot of work. They do, but that a lot of work, if you do it once, it is done. They don't do anything above what is needed from them. And what is needed is, once a year you make a kind of program, and that's it. The entire year you don't need to do anything much. They are I don't know why, but they think they have all the knowledge in the world just because they are professors, which is moronic. If you say you have all the knowledge in the world, you just deny yourself. There isn't any way you can know everything about what you are teaching. The third thing is more outdoors activities. And when I say outdoors activities, I don't mean physical education. I mean practical education in outdoors. Just because you have a classroom in your school doesn't mean you must be in the classroom all the time, and everything you could ever learn could be in that classroom. That is also very ridiculous, but well, that is my just my personal opinion, that I learned more being outdoors with some professors who wanted to go outdoors to teach us. We learned more from them, not maybe not in every sense, but I think I've learned more from them. And the fourth thing I would like to see implemented is a great deal of reformation within the subjects themselves. I certainly don't think the newer generations born in 2000s really need computer education which tells them how to use Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. So it's just moronic. Those kids are using computers since the day they were born. Most probably they know more than the professor who is teaching them, so why not teach them something they would actually use in their life, except from Facebook or whatnot. So yeah, that is not my personal opinion, but what I have seen and learned from everything I saw in my high school and college. Also, I had a course in applied computer studies, which is exactly what you think. I was using sophisticated calculators, not anything I would actually need to work on computers in a chemical laboratory or a pharmaceutical laboratory, but how to use sophisticated functions on a computer which I already have in my calculator or my cell phone. Doesn't matter. So that I've seen how much people are confused. So well, I don't know, it may be needed or not. I personally think it needs changing. So just because I don't need to know how to use sophisticated functions on a computer if I don't know how to check a production line of medicine, how it's working. If I don't know that, I don't need sophisticated functions of sinus, cosinus, or whatnot. The fifth thing I would make is that any deficiency in the classes should and can be resolved at the spot. There was no need for the Ministry of Education to say, well, yeah, we don't think that, blah 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 blah, whatnot. Just the problems could be solved in a more local way, not that I need to call the Minister of Education and complain to him to do something that a director of a school or a college should do, but he doesn't feel like it. So yeah, just make a shorter way for complaints to be seen, not that you need, not the American way of, oh, I think this is racist, you need to change it. But if I think a professor who has a 1% rate of passing on his exams should be, well, interrogated, not interrogated in the Gestapo sense, but asked what the fuck is he doing. How the fuck can you have 1% of people passing on your exams and still claim you know what you're doing? If I, as a pharmaceutical engineer, have 99% mortality in some of my medications, that would be moronic for me to say I know what I'm doing if only one person out of 100 survives. That is not good medicine, that is bad medicine, that's poison. It's not medicine. But you understand what I'm trying to say. The sixth thing is that the students, no matter what level of education they are, in college, high school, should get more leeway in the sense if they have something that they should sometimes maybe hold the classes, not only professors. We had an experimental class one year that one day of a year the students would hold the professor's post, and the professor would just stand on the side if the person who is teaching that day should make a mistake. The teacher would just say, "Hey man, that is the mistake, okay, no problem, continue on." I think that would not be such a bad idea. Maybe a few days a year that could be made, that the students teach on the classes, not only for one day or 5 days, maybe a whole month of it. Let's just let the students see how professors are what the professor's work is actually all about. For people who want to become professors, to know what it is to be a professor before becoming a professor. That is a big problem in my country, that most of the people who go to teacher colleges don't actually know what it means to be a teacher, or what it feels like, or pretty much anything. They don't know about it. So that could give them insight in the world. The sixth or whatever thing, I forgot actually where I came, that sometimes the students need to be given a responsibility. We had in my elementary, I think it was my third grade, that means I was 10 years. We had 10 years old. We had a big that was Eco Day in my high school. I think it is Earth Day, and we all got brooms and we cleaned up the yard, the school, and everything. We didn't clean the toilets, but everything else we just did. Every class of kids would get brooms, would get mops, would get rags, and just clean. That you have the idea what it means to have a clean work environment, and that the people who are making that environment clean aren't lower class citizens or lower class workers from the professors. They are just people like you, and you can also do that. You can make everything you work in clean, no garbage, no leaves, no what, or anything else that needs to be done. And also they were forced to I think 3 or 4 days before that there was no cleaning in the yard, so all the garbage we threw in the yard, we needed to clean it up. So we learned in a very small sense what responsibility means. Not responsibility in the professor sense, but responsibility in the ecological sense, that if you throw garbage on the ground, you should pick it up, or you don't throw it at all, you throw it in the garbage can, which most people don't really get. In my country they think, oh yeah, it's 200 meters from me, why the hell should I carry 200 meters, I will throw it here, which is actually pretty moronic if you ask me. I did throw garbage on the streets when I was a kid, but I stopped when I see that there are actually people who do clean up after me and other people, but they are not. I don't need to make their work even harder when, yeah, like autumn and winter makes their work hard. I don't need to make it even worse for them. So at very not that young age, I think I was 10, 11, I stopped throwing trash wherever I was, and actually cleaned up after me or after other people. Today I have really big problems with someone not throwing their shit in the garbage can, so I pick up after them, or if I see them I would yell at them to do it. It's just moronic to spread your shit around. And the last thing I would change is that the people going to teacher colleges need to really be the best kind of people. Not the people who couldn't make it into medical degrees, into medical colleges, technical colleges, but the people who actually want and actually have the possibilities to succeed in that field. In my country, most of the people going in teacher courses to become teachers are not that good. They are actually very bad from my high school, 5 people went to teacher colleges. Those 5 people were, I think, in American style of grading, they would be E students. So really bad, just like one step from failing grade or class or whatnot. They would go to become teachers, which is for me actually pretty moronic. One day I will need to leave my child to them, knowing that they are not capable for work they're doing. They're just going there because they can't make it in any other college. I'm not saying there are people who really like that, but I have never met one until now. I have met only one person, but that person also didn't go to teacher college, so I really don't know how the future professors will fare in the new system as it changes in the following years. The more and more usage of computers and stuff. I really don't know. I want to see, but I'm skeptically afraid. I don't really know how the future generations, in my country the newer generations, are becoming worse and worse. They're becoming criminals at the age of 14, 15, at the age I really didn't know what a criminal was. I know it from tales. I didn't know about it. They are robbing liquor stores, robbing corner shops or whatnot, because they think it's cool, not because they need the money or something from it. They just think it's cool, which is actually pretty moronic. The school should intervene in that, not just to educate them, but to show them that criminality is a very, very bad thing. So yeah, that is pretty much everything I wanted to cover here. If anyone has any more suggestions, please show it in the comments. And if you liked this video and or found it educational, please share it so as many people as possible see it. Thank you, and I will be hearing you next time.